Do you think that your child may be eligible for an IEP for special education? Well, it's the end of the school year, and Friday I had four parents call me to talk to me about advocating for their child because they're upset about this past 2020-2021 school year. It's pretty common for me to have just an influx of parents calling me off the hook when it gets to the end of the school year, because that's when parents are upset, overwhelmed, angry about the previous school year and how poorly their child has done, especially now when we've been in COVID with school closures and all the regression that's taken place for kids. And there's just been an influx of parents who now think that their child should be found eligible for special education services, but they don't know how to go about it or where to start. So that's going to be my topic for today, parents. How can your child be found eligible for an IEP? So before we get started, please like and share this video. Please just click that like button and share it with your friends, because parents need to know how to do this. It's really not that hard, but if you don't do it in a specific way, you're not going to be found eligible. Your child won't be found eligible for an IEP because you have to do it in a very specific manner. And if you do it that way, then it's going to go very smoothly. If you don't, they're going to delay it and stretch it out, and your child needs these services now. You can't wait any longer. So be sure and like and share. And also leave your comments, parents, because I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, ask me questions in the comments, and I'd be happy to help further and answer any of those questions. So the first thing I want to tell you is that IDEA, which is the federal law for special education, and it's the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, it mandates the school districts through a statute called Child Find that says that school districts are supposed to be the ones that scan and look and be on the lookout for kids who are falling behind and may be found eligible for an IEP and may have a suspected disability. But do you think that happens, parents? No, it absolutely does not happen, because districts don't want more kids in special education. They don't want kids to be found eligible for special education, because then they're going to have more kids in special ed classes. And they already don't have enough teachers and service providers and speech pathologists and OTs. They're already overloaded in their caseloads. So parents really have to fight to get their kids found eligible for an IEP. So my first point to you is make a written request for your child to be assessed for special education. It has to be in writing, parents. Do not just verbally ask your principal or verbally ask your teacher or some random person at the school site, I'd like to have my child found eligible for an IEP, because it's going to do nothing if you ask verbally. You have to put it in writing in an email. You write an email to your principal and you say these words: I am requesting my child be assessed to be found eligible for an IEP. Those are the words you say. And then you also say, I look forward to receiving an assessment plan within 15 days, because your written request triggers a timeline. Once they receive a written request from a parent, they must get you what's called an assessment plan to assess your child within 15 days. And then once you sign that assessment plan, they will then assess your child. So the first thing is you put it in writing. Number two, after you sign that assessment plan, then they will assess your child within 60 days. They must hold an IEP meeting and look at the results from that testing and determine whether your child is eligible or not eligible for an IEP. Now, if your child is not found eligible for an IEP and the psych says, okay, we did all the testing, and they go over all the test results in the IEP meeting, and at the end they say, your child is not eligible, I'm sorry, for an IEP, which is very common, They'll say the kids aren't eligible when they really are eligible, because these tests can be very subjective, and they can skew the results to show that your child is not eligible. At that point, you have the right parents to ask for a second opinion, and it's called an IEE, an Independent Educational Evaluation. And that's by a private assessor that is not a school district employee. And you get an IEE, and most times that IEE will come back where your child is actually eligible for an IEP. Also, that IEE cost is up to the district to fund. Does not come out of your pocket, parents, because FAPE, a free and appropriate public education, is free to you, and the districts must fund the IEE. Now, the other tip I want to say is that many parents will then, if the school district says no, they're not found eligible, the parents will just go out and fund an assessment on their own, and then bring that assessment back and go, look, I funded this assessment on my own, and they're saying my kid is eligible. Don't do that. You don't have to fund an assessment on your own. You go through the IEE, you pick your own provider, you pick the evaluator you want. You don't let them pick it for you, because they have biased evaluators that are going to come back and say the same thing that the district side said. You're going to pick your own evaluator that is not biased and sides with the school district and goes along with your agenda. You're going to pick an independent evaluator that is going to be honest and give you accurate, comprehensive findings, and you're going to know what the truth really is about your child and whether they're eligible for special education. So be sure to make sure that you do your research and you find a reputable IEE provider, okay? So parents, what are you going to do for next year? If your child has regressed significantly, if you suspect your child may have a learning disability, a reading disability, math disability, dyslexia, ADHD, on the spectrum, any kind of a disability, and even an obvious disability that you may know of, they probably most likely will qualify for an IEP, and this is how you do it. Now, also just remember that the school calendar ends at the last day of the school year. So those timelines I talked about, they stop at the end of the school year, the last day, and they start again on the first day of the new school year. Now, also, I want to mention this is California law. Other states have different timelines, so check your timeline in your state if you're not in California. So parents, this is also why it's summer. I'm offering my virtual Ultimate IEP program. All of these things are in the Ultimate IEP program for parents to learn how to do this, how to navigate the laws and the IEP process, so that you can make sure that you win the appropriate IEP that your child needs to learn and to be successful after they leave high school, and to leave high school with a high school diploma instead of just a credential of completion. So I hope you got value out of this, parents, and I hope that you will take part in the Ultimate IEP virtual program this summer, so that you can learn how to advocate this summer and stop the regression for your child. The Ultimate IEP is on my Advocates for Angels page. All over the page, you'll see it on there. It's a virtual program. You can go at your own pace. The cost is $199. It's an amazing value that will give you what you need in order for your child to be successful in school. So thanks, guys, and I will see you next Monday on my next Facebook Live. Take care, everyone, and God bless.